Hi, y'all. Just putting some hand lotion on to pretend I'm even doing anything for all of these cracks that are developing in my skin because it's winter. I've been washing my hands like crazy. I've been eating a lot of gluten and chocolate. And it's good that I don't have high definition resolution right now because my hands are disgusting. Um, it's just like sores and dry patches and flaky skin and scars and leathery everything uh, all over. But enough of me. Actually, no. JK, this entire life. This entire life and live is going to be about me. And you, hopefully. But I'm exhausted today. I believe this is the fourth day I've tested negative. Maybe. So technically, I guess like COVID day 14 or something. Or 15 rather, because I tested positive on a Tuesday. So this would be the 15th day. Um, Cetaphil doesn't help. Like, it's fine, but then 2 minutes later, it cracks. But I feel horrible today. And I made the decision to take a walk to drop off a snack bag for a friend who lives in Brooklyn who's sick, not with COVID, just sick. Um, and about a quarter of the way through the walk, mind you, this is a walk that I've done many times before without issue. A quarter of the way through the walk, I just suddenly felt exhausted. And then I had to like sit on the step on the street, which I've never done before. So I took a sit and I was like, fuck me, this is bad. Um, and then I was like, I don't know if I'm going to make this walk. But I decided to just take it slow, and I told my friend I might be late, like I'm feeling pretty shit, and he's like, you can turn back now, like just go home. And I was like, I may have only 25% of my smell and taste and energy, but I am 100% stubborn still. Um, Halfway through the walk, I started feeling kind of feverish. Like I started getting chills. So I'm not really sure what's going on. And then on my way back from my friend, I took the subway back. Um, and the 7 train was broken because we had a broken rail at Hunter's Point. And the whole platform was filled with people to the point where the stairwell was backed up with people. And I was like, well, if there's multiple variants of COVID, I'm certainly going to get another one now. It's just like sardined in. So I don't know, man. Hi, London. Hi, everyone. Um, I have no idea, Kay, why you're getting a black screen on your PS4. I'm sorry, you're not missing much. The image is pretty shit, so if you can hear me. Um, Aaron also tested today, and he is still positive, and he is on day 5 as well. He's also starting to feel better, but for me, it took 10 days to test negative. I was not expecting to be this. I'm gonna say it like I feel disabled. Obviously, I don't have a real disability besides my depression, invisible disabilities. But I'm very surprised at how weakened I am. So that's my update. I'm going to eat some snacks and show you the bread that I made. Thank you, Tamara. And we're gonna eat some bread. We're gonna eat some snacks that Aaron brought back from Taiwan. And I bought myself a bag of salmon bones, and I really want to cook it, and I really should cook it, but I just don't feel like it tonight. So we'll cook it tomorrow. Oh, and I made almond butter. And I didn't clean the Vitamix yet, so we'll be using this dirty Vitamix to scoop our bread into and have some almond butter toast, and then we'll wash this. This is how lazy I've gotten today, you know? So, thank you for being here and keeping me company, and feel free to chat it up with each other and with me, and, you know, do whatever the fuck you want, as you've always done. There are a few people after our last live who are very worried that this content is going away underneath a paywall or whatever. It's not. Like, don't worry. These lives will always be here. I will continue to make videos once my life is in order again and once I have the energy to actually film stuff. And I will continue to put it up on YouTube. Like, I never intended this YouTube thing to be my main income stream. I did the YouTube thing because I thought it would be fun, and it has been truly life-changing, because I was just discussing with a friend yesterday that, like, the way that I grieved through this platform with you guys all being here was a surreal experience. I had you, who I didn't know before, like, literally come into my life physically and help me out with my grieving period, with practical things and logistical things and, like, emotional things. So this community of sorts that we have here will remain as is. You know, the only way I'm monetizing the YouTube is through ads, which is default on YouTube. And I repeat once again, you are more than welcome to use ad blockers. I don't care if you do, just whatever makes you enjoy this content more. I'm happy to let you do it. Yeah, the shredding live. Yeah, I enjoy having this platform, and I don't intend on putting anything behind a paywall. And I also am not very enthusiastic about, like, taking on sponsorships to be a human ad in my videos. I want this to be like a free creative space where I'm not beholden to any capitalistic forces that dictate how I live my life and produce my ideas and exist, you know? So I do want to find jobs that do pay the bills, because, like, I do have bills to pay. And I, unfortunately, am also stuck in this capitalistic world with you, but this is one arena where I would just like to keep it as is. Listening to Toddler June throw a tantrum on tape was priceless. And you know what? I'm so fucking glad we got to listen to it together on the live, because that tape was, like, distorted and ruined, like, after the second listen. So we have it perpetually captured now in its full form. So, yeah, a lot of I was holding a discussion on Instagram last night about what people would want to see me put out if I created a Patreon account, and several people responded that they couldn't afford to pay anything. And I was like, that's okay. I totally get it. Like, people know me because I made a show called Budget Eats. It's all about how to make do with $25 for the entire week. Like, I understand a lot of my audience are people who are living paycheck to paycheck, which is most of New York City. 90% of New York City is one paycheck away from being evicted. A lot of the country is living this way. So I understand, like, and I'm certainly not in that situation right now. So there's no need for me to, like, paywall everything yet. One day, when I am paycheck to paycheck, which might be soon, looking at these yogurt and egg prices, I will have to figure out how to feed myself. But until then, welcome. Let's eat. Oh, exhaustion. I'm gonna start with an apple first, because that's all I have energy for right now. I went grocery shopping yesterday and I bought a bunch of $1 stuff. I bought 2 bags of $1 zucchinis. I bought 2 bags of $1 sweet potatoes. I bought a $1 bag of salmon bones. I got 4 apples for $2. I got a few tangerines for $2. So hopefully I can get some vegetables in me, but for now, apple. So I started moving into this place on November 3rd. I completed my move on November 8th. I started living here full time on November 8th, and then I got sick 2 days before Thanksgiving. Tammy, you've missed a lot. You can go back to previous lives if you want to check out details, but Fred is with Aaron in the old place. This is a new apartment. I just showered today because I came back and I felt sick and I was on the subway with a million billion people, and I was like, the first thing I'm going to do is a saltwater rinse of my mouth and a complete hot shower head to toe. I don't know what Chernobyl chives are. They could be garlic chives. So my sinuses are so fucked up that a neti pot doesn't flow through to the other side anymore. This happened to me after I went to China and got 3 sinus infections in a row. So when I use a neti pot, it actually just accumulates until it almost like pushes up against my eyeball socket. It doesn't flow out the other side anymore. Life, you learn to deal with it. Oh my god. You guys are hilarious. I never forgot to eat because that's just who I am. Sometimes I wish I could be one of those people who forget to eat, but I don't know how. Like, a common joke for a portion of the asexual community is that, like, we always think about cake more than we think about sex. Maybe it has to do with my asexual personality. I don't know, but like food is very important to me, so I would not forget to eat it. It's like if you never got horny. That's for an allosexual. I mean, how long do you go without thinking about sex? I don't know. You tell me, because I'm not an allosexual. But yeah, food is never far from my mind. It was very frustrating that I couldn't taste anything in the first 5 days, but my appetite was still there. I was still hungry. Oh, by the way, we had a few more generous donations roll through for my Birkenstock fund, so thank you to those folks. I appreciate it. I think we're like 75% of the way through for the first pair. So You might see some new boots soon on my feet. I was joking with Ram yesterday that for one of the Patreon levels, it could just be for the feet fetishists. They would contribute to a shoe fund, and I would release videos trying on shoes for them that was bought with their contributions. I think my Patreon will be very weird. Like, it will not be related to just food. It will be some sort of like perversity in every single layer, except maybe the first two. The first two will be vanilla basic. But once we pass level 3, we're gonna have some special content, you know? Bottled pasta water, no. I won't sell merch, for sure. Fuck merch. I love seeing all the freaks come out of the woodwork. When did I become asexual? That's a question, Bob. When did you become asexual? I don't know anything about France, but other people might give you tips. I'd be interested to hear. All I want to do is sit on my butt for the rest of my life. Bob, I think I realized that I was asexual. I wouldn't quite use the word become. I think I probably always kind of was, but I think I realized in freshman year of college, your same experience. Other people talking about wanting to bone other people, and I'm like, really? Why? How? Like, how does that work? Because every time I had a crush on somebody, I would only fantasize about, like, hugging them and maybe kissing them, but not, like, even tongue kissing, just, like, lips touching kissing. Very, very, like, PG-13. It might even be PG nowadays. So, oh, here we go. We have a 69XXX. Can we hide you? Can we remove? There we go. Oh, one more. Report. Pornography. There you go. Bye. What's allosexual? Allosexual is to asexual as cisgender is to transgender. So allosexual is people who have normal sex attraction drives. We don't have a special word for that in just normative lingo because we think everyone is heterosexual, cisgender, right? So it makes people who don't identify as cisgender heterosexual feel bad when we're like abnormal. So to be more fair, we've given names to everyone, no matter how they identify. I actually really like cuddling. I don't really like holding hands that much, but I don't mind it. And I like hugging people who I have crushes on or who I trust or who I love. I like physical contact. I'm just not really big into sex. That's all. You can be asexual, I guess. I'm not too familiar, but I don't see why not. Yeah, totally agree. There's different variations of asexuality. Some people enjoy sex more than other asexual people. So, you know, it's just like, it's not a blanket statement of any sort. Again, y'all, these are just terms that we've come up to kind of distinguish ourselves from the norm, because we have the stereotype of what the norm is, but even the norm is kind of limiting for people. You know, like even if you are cisgender and you're heterosexual, there's different kinds of cisgender heterosexuals, you know? So yeah, you are just me. And no, there really isn't a norm, but again, all of our norms are reifications. It's my favorite word I've ever learned in college. It's the only word that changes my entire perspective on life. I paid all of my tuition money, mostly scholarships and financial aid. But I went to college to learn the word reification. Reification really defines what our world is for me. So, you know, cisgender, spelled CIS, gender, means that you were born and assigned into the gender that you currently identify as. So I was assigned as female, a girl, when I was born because I had vagina parts and a vulva, and they were like, she's a girl. I currently still identify as a girl. I am therefore cisgender. Now, if I was assigned female at birth, but I don't identify as a woman, and I'm like, that's not really my gender, then I could be transgender or I could be genderqueer, but I'm not really cisgender. How can you tell if your partner is asexual? You ask them. You don't. You ask them. Guys, communicate! They're your partner! Talk! What else? What else are we? We're having a like gender studies class now. Is that what this is? I'm like not very well versed, so if I say the wrong shit, y'all call me out, okay? It's a communal class. What if they don't want to talk? Then you might need to find a different relationship, honestly. Like, if you have a relationship that has zero communication and one party desires it, but the other party isn't giving it, that is probably the best reason in my book to not continue that relationship anymore. As a person who is asexual, if my partner doesn't talk to me, there is literally no relationship left. Okay? My relationship is so heavily communication. And if that need is not fulfilled, I have no relationship with which to continue on. The Bailey's soaked figs. You know, if you want to see me get turned, we can open that up. How rude of me. I didn't show you this bread yet, and I'm eating it already. This is our buckwheat dough. I don't know if I made the buckwheat dough on camera. I don't think I did. But I made this buckwheat dough yesterday. It has oats and flax and millet and all of that. It's quite delicious. Do I smoke marijuana? How old are you, Bob? I haven't heard anyone type out the whole word marijuana in a very long time. What is the 420 level of Patreon? It's 420. Duh. You answer your own question. Hi, Australian women, plural. 52 years. Yes, I do partake. I'm so curious about my viewers' age. I feel like there's a lot of potential miscommunication that happens. Because when we are from different kinds of generations, like we're used to wording things differently, and the internet and through text, it's really hard to tell connotations of people's speech patterns, especially if I literally don't know you. So it's really hard to like misunderstand you. So I appreciate you telling me your age, because Sometimes I am an ageist, and I do stereotype you based on your age and generation. And sometimes that stereotype explains a lot in my brain why you might be saying stuff a certain way. Yo, holler! Mid-30s in the room. If my appetite goes away, I'm in deep shit. So yes, I do still very much have an appetite after COVID. I actually gained 10 pounds during COVID. Isn't that weird? Most people lose weight. Oh well. Yeah, you guys don't have to tell me your age, but I'm glad you're all you're comfortable with sharing. I like obviously no peer pressuring here. Share what you're comfortable with. Things can get very personal very quickly here, so if you're ever uncomfortable, you don't have to share even if we ask you, okay? Just drawing some boundaries here. Do with what you're comfortable with. I actually gain weight when I'm stressed and depressed. So if I gain weight, it's usually during the winter when my depression is hitting the lowest of the year. Oh, somebody's knocking. Should I go answer? Yes? Oh. 1 second. Thank you. Have a good night. Well, that was fun. It was UPS. Anyone who's younger than my age will not remember AOL. Anyone who's younger than 30 will probably not remember AOL. Why do we have almost 300 people tonight? What is happening? Huh? I don't understand why some of these lives get so much more viewership than others. Is it like a time thing? Is it just when everybody's free from work? I guess you accidentally got an apartment tour, huh? You're welcome. You can thank the UPS man. It's time for butter, y'all. Nothing beats butter. Always butter. I've probably had Amish butter. Why? Is it like an extraordinarily different thing? What would you guys say is the job that you've had that you were the happiest at or least miserable at? I don't know if I believe in life after death. I hope there is none. I would like my eternal rest, please. I feel like I deserve it. my god, look at all these jobs. Teaching kids in the summer at a church in Flushing? Was that like on Union Street? Did you teach me? I went to a summer camp at a church in Flushing. Music teacher, brewing kombucha, legal weed, police officer. Susan! You're a cop? Were you a good cop? Did you last very long? Tell us everything. Gardener. Ooh, teaching kids with learning disabilities how to cook. Fun. Self-employed small business owner. Yeah, PK, you are living the dream. Happiest as a nanny, but least miserable as a prep cook. That is very interesting that there's a distinction between those two categories of love and not hate. Wow. Pharmacy company where the boss called women, quote, lumps of meat. Gag. Giving out parking tickets was your favorite job, Jennifer? LOL. Yeah, a lot of people like First Baptist Church. That sounds familiar. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that church was called anymore. Wow, look at all these jobs. Hairstylist, I feel like would make me really happy too if I had skills. I'd rock a cutting board with burner mark tiny keychain. That's a cute merch. You guys can make it and sell it. You can sell my merch, but I won't sell my merch. Does that make sense? I'm enjoying reading all of these. Yeah, that sounds like an abusive workplace. How did you burn my chopping board? How did I burn my chopping board? I put it on the burner, turned it on, thinking I was drying my cast iron, but it was my board instead. Bye, Angela. Have I ever made pastina, like the pasta cut? No? We're most miserable working for Pfizer. Makes sense. That is disgusting. Spilled milk is one of the grossest smells ever. I need water. I got some of my taste back. I think I got like 25 to 35% of it back. Okay, we are going to start eating Erin's lovely snacks now. First up, if you remember, wait, I'm going to lick this Vitamix clean first. Don't judge me. I'm going to try to do it so I don't slice my hand on the beaters. But if you remember, a few days ago, I tried a mochi that Erin's dad gifted. I put one last remaining piece in the freezer, and we're going to... Yes, my dress is on backwards. Do you like it? I like wearing clothes backwards. What made my Chinese so good? I was born in Beijing. I immigrated here when I was 7. My parents never fully acquired English as a second language, so I always spoke Chinese with them at home. The only way to maintain language is to use it. I studied French for 7 years and I don't remember anything. No, that's not a mainland Chinese thing, I don't think, is it? That might be a Taiwanese thing. What makes mochi good mochi? I think for me, mochi should be soft, but chewy. Do people licking their fingers while eating gross you out? Because it grows my parents out so much. I've never been to Hungary. I'd be open to go. Do you highly recommend? I am 33. What is your favorite Hungarian food dish? I've not been to Turkey, but Aaron loves. Chris, I would love to do budget travels, but grandma's here, so I can't really travel, like, for the most part. I don't want to be on TikTok. I know that's where people are blowing up, but I don't care about blowing up, and I really don't like that app. It's really mentally toxic for me. I know that there's good content on there and there's a lot of fun creators that make really good stuff, but the app itself is not something I want to engage in. It's just so addictive. They've made it impossibly seamless, and I don't like it. I don't want to touch it. It feels wrong in my soul to engage. And just because that's what everyone else is doing to quote unquote succeed, it doesn't mean that I'm willing to do it to succeed. I don't trust TikTok with my data, but I also don't trust anyone with my data. It's not just the Chinese government who will fuck you over with all that data. What do you think Google is doing right now? The chocolate has frozen into a little snappy thing in the middle. Did you hear that? This is a very different experience. I'm not joking. Once grandma dies, you bet your ass I will be traveling. But grandma is very healthy. Might be a while. I might be in my 40s. This texture is amazing. I love this mochi frozen because the chocolate, the white chocolate inside, has turned into a solid chunk. At room temperature, it flows a little bit like a lava cream filling. But right now, it's solid. I will be sure to announce all of my future travels so that anybody who's local to there who wants to show me around can. It is matcha flavor, yes. I did not know that we have to get an enhanced license. I don't even have a license, period. Larissa, not really. But also, yes, because Budget Eats always takes inspiration from different cultures. I don't like limiting myself to just one culture. It doesn't work like that. I also think that way of theming episodes of like, this is all the food from this country is very essentializing. So, That was extremely good and satisfying. What is the best noodle dish in Astoria? I didn't feature any in that episode, and I don't really eat noodles in Astoria, so I can't tell you. But there is good pho, and there is good ramen. Those are the first two noodles that come to mind. No, I can't distinguish Madagascar versus bourbon vanilla because most of the time I'm not rich enough to use real vanilla anything. That shit is expensive. One vanilla bean is anywhere from $12 to $20. I don't have money for that. I don't even like vanilla flavor that much, okay? It don't make no sense to me. Oh my gosh, khichdi is amazing. Yes. We have pineapple cakes from Taiwan. Let's eat this one. I don't know if I've had Haitian food. No. This is a frozen pineapple cake. It just came out of the freezer, so I'm very excited to eat it frozen. I love desserts when they're frozen. Oh my god. So there is pineapple jam, winter melon jam, there is cornstarch, there is butter, there is egg, there is flour, there is sugar, and cheese powder and milk powder. There's cheese powder in here. Fascinating. Oh my god. I think I like this better once it's frozen. Whoa. The texture of the pineapple filling on the inside. Can I just say this? I think saffron is overrated. I'm sorry. Maybe I've just not had very good saffron, but it always tastes like chlorine to me. This is like a shortbread outside with a layer of pineapple winter melon jam on the inside, and frozen, it's almost like the texture of saltwater taffy. It is like a Fig Newton, yeah. Crumbly, buttery outside. Yum. So does Puerto Rico produce saffron? If it's used so much? Can you make chickpea flour from raw chickpeas and will it kill your food processor? I've done it before. It depends on your food processor. If you have a really shitty weak powered one, yeah, it might. A Vitamix will blitz it, no problem. One thing you have to be aware of is that your chickpeas might not be clean. So if you make chickpea flour from raw chickpeas without washing them and drying them first, it could land you in food safety hazard land. So I think for me, two essential dried Chinese spices, white pepper and citron peppercorns, for sure. Those are the first two that come to mind for me. So I would say white pepper is underrated, and citron peppercorn, I would agree, is underrated. You like margarine. What is everyone's favorite spice? Pick one spice that's usually dried and pick one fresh herb. Chinese spice does not taste anything like white pepper. No, I ran out of peanut butter. No more peanut butter. I finished 2 pounds of peanut butter while I had COVID, and you wonder why I gained 10 pounds. There's a reason. Dill is amazing. I love dill. Fascinating. Fenugreek is your choice. Wow. Wow. This is all very fascinating to see what people pick. I will say I like fresh bay leaf way more than I like dried bay leaf. Dried bay leaf always makes my food taste a little bit mothball-y. So I don't know what's up with that. Maybe it's just like a taste bud thing. Okay, it's time. We're gonna eat our first Bailey's soaked dried figs. Okay? Y'all. The Bailey's has solidified inside. Look, it's not leaking. It's turned into like a jello inside. And it's not moving at all. And I think it's because of the pectin from the seeds of the figs. It's like set in place. We soaked these on alive, so 2 days. That alcohol, it just hits you. You're gonna have to pace me, okay? This is dangerous. We poured like half a bottle of Bailey's in here. That was a shot. Oh my God, what did I just do? Okay. The next snack we will eat is this taro pastry with a mochi center. Oh my God, guys. Right here. Right here. It begins. That hit so fast. Oh, this smells so good. So this is like the thing that I got in the Budget Eats in the Wild Flushing episode at the very end. It smells immediately when you take it out of the packaging like butter, just like butter soaking into dough and baked. It smells amazing. It smells like the most sophisticated sex to me right now. Not just any sex, sophisticated sex. Like they know what they're doing, sex. It was a mistake eating that fig, y'all. Oh my god, it smells so good. How does something smell this good? It's not fair. I want to smell this good. Mm. That's the mochi center. So you get pastry, you get a layer of taro mash, and then you get mochi. The packaging said you can warm this up. I do want to smell like sophisticated sex all the time. Yes. We're going to microwave it. Just for a few seconds. Because it has been frozen. Oh, that mochi is warm. That mochi is warm, y'all. Look at it. Look at it. Look at it. Look at it. Wow. Okay. This smells like the creamiest, most perfectly sweetened taro mash you could possibly make. Wow. Yeah. Warm is the way to go. The mochi, once it's warmed, it's like buttery pudding. Thick buttery pudding. And it just kind of like gets smeared across your teeth and upper palate as you chew. Your tongue just smooths it over like a butter knife. Y'all. I don't go to Costco. I don't have a membership. But mom left me like 3 Costco gift cards, and I hear you can go into Costco with those gift cards. You experiment. That was the first time I soaked anything in Bailey's. Soak anything you want in Bailey's bread pudding for a drunken brunch. That's going in my cookbook that won't ever get published. You heard it here, folks. An Irish coffee bread pudding sounds fucking amazing, y'all. For the winter times, brunch for one, get drunk and stay in all day. Praise Aaron for bringing me back these treats. They're so good. Oh, I need to sit. I need to sit for a little bit. I'm very happy. Everybody needs a little bit of drunken figs in their lives every now and then, you know? The new episodes of Budget Eats were filmed recently. They just take a while to edit, y'all. Like, I don't know. Everybody makes these comments about how delayed these episodes are, but have y'all worked in video production? It's fucking work, y'all. It's not like we go out, we shoot the video, and bam, the next day it shoots out our butt. Okay? There's a whole team working behind those videos to like make the graphics, put in the music, do the editing, put in the, I don't know, animation. What else? We have to make edits upon edits upon edits to produce one of those episodes. Like, you enjoy them because they're edited perfectly. Zach spends days editing those. Other people give him feedback on how to make the edits even better, and that's why they feel so seamless, even though some of them are 90 minutes long. So my favorite way to indulge is smoking it. I don't do well eating it. So yeah, people who are like, are these recycled footages? No, like it literally takes a month to push them out. And when you have 3 videos in the pipeline ready to go, it takes staggered over time, 3 months to push out 3 videos because it takes time. And we don't have that many editors. That's part of the problem, actually, that we don't have enough editors to do the work that we need to do. And that's another reason why we are unionized and pushing for a contract. Because people who are there are overworked constantly, asked to take on too much of everything. I would like to have a job. Yes. Am I going back to work? I hope so. I need to be employed in order to pay rent and buy food, go thrifting. But yeah. Video editing is work, y'all. Like it took me like 4 days to edit one of those LA food videos. You know, it's a lot of work. So yeah. But yeah, I did keep my spoon collection for sure. I've been asked to write a cookbook before by a publisher. I don't want to. Recipes are not part of my heritage. As you can see from my joy and creativity spewing in the madness that is Budget Eats, I don't like cooking with recipes. And in fact, it makes me happier to not have a recipe in place. The culture of recipes, I think, first of all, it's not my culture. I was born in China. I immigrated here at the age of 7. I have like deep-seated childhood trauma regarding recipes, in fact. And it's just not the way that I saw my family cook as I grew up. And I also find the culture of the recipe to be very authoritarian. It's like very black and white of what you should do. And I feel like that's what made me feel a lot of imposter syndrome when I first started working in food media, because 1, I didn't come from a recipe background. I'm not used to using them or writing them or developing them. And 2, it's like the recipe should be perfect, right? Because the recipe is a formula and you want to make sure this formula works for everyone. So you just go through like rounds and rounds and rounds of testing that recipe to make sure that it comes out perfect every time. And that culture of perfection, of like accuracy, of trying to make it work for everyone who work under different circumstances. Altitude affects baking, humidity affects baking, uncalibrated ovens affect baking, the burner size you have, the pot construction, everything affects these times and these metrics. And like recipes are not perfect, but we act like they should be. And I don't like that. I like being able to adjust and go with the flow. I like being zoned in enough to know I'm capable of making it work and not having to have a Bible of sorts for all occasions. So that's my take on recipes. I don't hate recipes, but they're just not a natural form of expression for me. And they don't feel good sometimes. And to be honest, I never follow recipes myself. So there are people who love recipes and adore cookbooks. I also like looking at cookbooks. But as far as recipes, I don't see myself writing a cookbook. I do see myself potentially writing something that includes recipes here and there, but it's not going to be a cookbook. It's not what you would think of when you think of an American cookbook. Fred is doing great, I think. I think he threw up like yesterday, but he's a cat. So, yeah. Cool. Have you been thinking about where you want to work next? I don't want to work for a corporation anymore. That's for sure. I did cook in the Delish Test Kitchen for videos before the pandemic. But then the pandemic happened and we stopped going into the office. And then I started making videos at home that were more successful than the videos I used to make in the kitchen. So I stayed home to continue producing my own videos from home because they were working. That's why. But I do have videos made in the Delish Test Kitchen if you go back. End of 2019, beginning of 2020, and then the pandemic happened. Should I eat anything more? I feel hungry. I'm not actually hungry, but I feel hungry. If I don't find full-time employment, I will have to go freelance, right? That's just either or. Would I work for Munchies? Are they unionized? If I work for a media corporation again, they need to be unionized, period. Because I'm not riding this train again. More figs? You want to see me get more wasted? Oh my god. Oh, Faye, that's a great idea. It's like one of those journals that I loved buying when I was in the 4th grade, and they were just like, write your biggest dreams. What is your ideal date? Tell me about yourself. And it's like half journal, half bullshit. My 4th grader went hard on those. So many people want to see me get wasted. Y'all are evil. Oh my god. I can tell who's my real friend. It's the people who are telling me stop it with the figs. All of you other people are just waiting to see me burn up in flames. Why are we talking about candy thermometers? I also don't have one. Are you talking about frying or making candy? You do need a candy thermometer if you're making candy. You don't need a candy thermometer if you're frying. Gel pens. The Milky pens? Do you remember the Milky pens that were like $3 each? Ooh! Yes! This. Persimmon time! And yogurt for protein. Because your girl needs some protein. Does anyone just drink the whey? Okay. This is a Hachia persimmon. It is tall and not squat. Whey is very rich in protein. I can't believe you're pouring it out. It is super soft. Look at this. Squish. Squish, 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 squish. It's so soft, it will rupture. I like Hachias more, but Fuyus are great too. Yes, you do need a thermometer for homemade marshmallows. You need to make sure the sugar gets to a certain temperature so that it sets your gelatin and or your egg whites, whichever method you're using. If your sugar mixture doesn't reach a certain hardball stage, it will not set properly. So that is correct. Some people don't eat the skin. I do. I will definitely have crunchy nodules. You could wing it. For sure, you can always wing it. Just as long as you're not expecting perfection. Your persimmon needs to be ripe. Otherwise, it will taste like a banana peel. Persimmons taste like, to me, honey, papaya, apricot. Honey, papaya, apricot. Combine all of those. This could totally be Patreon content, you know? Just like a close-up of my mouth and really mushy, sloppy things going in. You know people are going to pay for that shit. Only Foods, Bob. But like, is OnlyFans still a thing? Is OnlyFans actually still a thing, or did they like shut down? I hit the nodule. It's right here. It's like the most translucent part. It looks like an orange segment without the skin. Ooh, a mush ASMR. I would rather kill myself. I don't like ASMR. When it comes to like mushy, sloppy things, it's just too gross for me. But if it's crunchy, like I could have a ASMR chip eating stream. I would love to eat chips, like snacks, bag snacks, wrinkling of bags, opening of bags, close up smelling the bags, and then crunching through the chew, chips, snacks. That I'm into, not mush. Mush ASMR, I would actually just be so ashamed of myself. Persimmon is one of like the sexiest foods you can eat, I think. It just like leaks all over. And it looks so shiny and fleshy, you know? There's so much you can do with persimmons. I am obviously welcoming all the That's What She Said jokes now. I set myself up for it. Yes, the yogurt is just standing here. I'm about to eat it though. really expensive maraschino cherries with a slow, sexy drizzle shot of that syrup going on top. That's definitely going on there. Basically, everything that has viscosity needs to be featured on that level of Patreon. I mean, the natural workflow of evolving in food content is food pornography, right? Like, whether or not you are actively sexualizing it, there is just a very carnal element to food, period. It's two pretty basic biological drives. The third one isn't very sexy. The third one is shitting. But there are still some freaks out there who love it. All the power to them. Nigella Lawson. Perfect example. So really, we have, you could organize closets and kitchens. I would have to build up a clientele for that, though, and you need word of mouth and credibility, and that seems like a task to build that up. But you can let your friends know that I'm down to do that for money. How are the watermelon candies from Ben? I actually did not eat a single one because I gave it all away to friends before I could. But I didn't want to ruin my childhood memories of them. They are amazing. I just always have cavities, so I didn't eat them because I knew it would just give me a straight up cavity. Something is a fetish to someone out there. People have weird fetishes. Okay, I need to clear this up. Bob asked, did you tell Ben he got the order wrong? This is at the bagel shop in our last Budget Eats in the Wild. So yes, to answer your question, at the time, I did tell Ben, hey Ben, you messed up my order. And he's like, what? And I was like, yeah, man, I asked for whole wheat everything. And some viewers pointed out in the video comments that actually I'm the one who made the mistake, because apparently Ben said, you want whole wheat with everything? So I don't know who got it wrong. One of us got it wrong. But either way, it was still a fucking delicious sandwich. So I'm not mad. I just thought it was really cute. He seemed very apologetic about it in the moment. But it no longer matters. All that matters, all that you need to know, is that he's an amazing human being. The food there is great. He gives you free shit. The vibes there are impeccably New York, and it's worth a visit. So. Oh yeah, that Greek pastry with the layers of syrupy phyllo or syrupy kataif with pudding and whipped cream and pistachios. That was really good. Yeah. Have a good night, Geraldine. So I think to make my income is not to monetize anything I'm currently already doing, but rather to create very niche services. So You know, the most expected ones are people asking me for cooking workshops, which I can do, but they're very hard to facilitate with multiple people over Zoom. So I would either have to keep the classes very small or come up with some sort of an alternative. But I think the alternative would all seem too overwhelming for me, schematically speaking. And I don't know if I'm ready to like commit to that level of work quite. So I'll have to think about that. But yeah, I don't know how many people were joking, but there were a lot of very interesting requests. The pocket on my butt could be problematic. Yeah, it is. It's kind of cutting into my skin right now. But yeah, like guys, I know endings are really sad, right? Like everyone's gonna miss the show. I'm gonna miss doing the shows, but I do think we've had a good run. We've been doing Budget Eats for like 2.5 years now. I think things have to end sometime. Some shows drag on for years, and you know, after a certain number of seasons, they're not that great anymore. And honestly, I feel like I've kind of shown all I could show on that show, and it started feeling a little bit old to me. I do wish that we had more chances to do more budget eats in the wild. I liked exploring neighborhood eats a lot, but it was out of my hands. So personal chef is a thing, but I think my strong point is in being creative. It's not necessarily making food taste good. So I don't have enough trust in my palate to be like, yeah, I'm pretty sure this will be exactly what you want to eat. I think my joy in cooking is experimenting, not in menu planning. I think menu planning actually stresses me out. The Lunar New Year Budget Eats was definitely the most special one. And my next favorite episode of Budget Eats is the one where I cleaned out my kitchen, because both of those videos were so personal to me. The mom one was personal for mom reasons, and the kitchen clean out one was personal because you saw exactly what I kept on hand and like stashed away in years. I feel like that episode tells you a lot about me and what I like to eat and what I like to keep on hand. So I kind of want more yogurt now. Time to open another one. Okay, that's an idea. Patreons who want to see me scoop the first spoonful out of a smooth container of something. Nut butter, yogurt, sour cream. Yeah, I like the challenge aspect of Budget Eats. That's like the whole thing about Budget Eats. How to work yourself out of a mess. Food science degree? No, I don't care for science. Science is overrated. Get it out of my face. Please do a budget eats in Fresh Meadows. Literally so hard to get to Fresh Meadows by public transit. And what shops is in Fresh Meadows even? I don't ever go there. Although my high school is very close to Fresh Meadows. Are you burnt out on food media? Yes. Or food in general? No. Am I feeling a new chapter? I feel like I've been pushed into a new chapter. Can you do your own vlogs? For sure. Julia's amazing. I love Julia. Do you ever get off alive and have a tummy ache from all the food you snacked on? No, I in fact just continue eating after the live ends sometimes. Food will be the death of me. Very sad. June, is there a dish your mom made you'd had to recreate through taste memory? She just made some really basic stir fries, and they were all different every week. That's kind of like just the Chinese de facto home cooking, stir fry. Take us shopping with you next time you go. Like on a live stream? So what is the job market like for you? Not great currently. You know, I don't know. Julia's a magician. I would not be able to do her job for sure. We have very talented folks at Delish who all deserve to be paid more. Yeah, I could do an audience picks 5 ingredients and I cook with them. Maybe the Patreons can get to pick 5 Patreons at that level every month or every week. We could make a challenge video every week. And if I limit the number of Patreons that can exist on that level, I'd have to use every single suggestion that comes through. I'm not 30, I'm 33. I don't have a Patreon yet. I'm simply brainstorming about Patreon. I want to see if it's actually something that I can do sustainably. It's funny because when I put out an Instagram poll last night, and I wonder if it's because my YouTube audience is not the same as my Instagram audience, not a lot of people said they would pay for a Patreon. So I keep wondering, well, is this even worth it, you know? But I'd be curious to have different levels, right? Some levels will be more accessible than others. I also don't know what Ko-Fi is, or Ko-Fi. Interesting. I keep forgetting that YouTube community tab is a thing. By the way, if you have an Aldi near you, their Greek yogurt is pretty cheap. It's like $3.75 for 2 pounds, or $3.79 for 2 pounds, and it tastes pretty good. So, FYI, if you like Greek yogurt. Come with me, I'm gonna do dishes. So somebody said the same thing about releasing on Patreon first and then later on Instagram. I don't like to separate it like that. I don't like this class difference of like, yeah, these people get it first and then all of you plebes who can't give me money, you get like leftover edition. It just feels wrong. I don't like it. But I will create different content for people who pay me. So that's what I'm trying to figure out, what kind of content people would pay me for. Oh my gosh, you're offering to do research work for me? That's so kind. I honestly just hate YouTube and Google. They're already so big. So that's why I don't turn on super chats or super thanks. Because Google takes 30% of everything. Which means if you give me $10, Google takes 3 of those dollars. And I don't want Google to get your money. I have considered travel vlogger, but as I've stated many times, I can't travel while I'm still responsible for grandma. It will be too stressful for me and for her. So that is unfortunately a no-go. Yes, I love Alicia Kennedy's newsletter. I've started reading her during the pandemic. I don't know if I'm that good of a writer. I mean, how much would you guys pay me to read a weekly newsletter from me? Like, I don't know if my platform is readers, you know? Twitch takes more, actually. Twitch is owned by Amazon. Twitch is disgusting. Especially for small content creators, it's so hard to make any money on Twitch. And I also don't want Amazon to make money. Patreon does take a cut, but it's like 3% as opposed to 30%. That's a big difference. Yeah, the bigger the company, the worse they are. Google and Amazon take so much. I would love interviewing people, but who would I interview? I'm kind of like pretty antisocial, honestly. I might have run out of things to eat. It's not true. I'll probably eat more things after I turn this live off. God, those figs are making me tell you everything. And I only had one. I don't know how permissions work with those street interviews. Like, do people who get interviewed have to sign a release form? It's kind of like asking people, hey, can I take your picture? It changes their demeanor once they realize they're on camera, you know? So, there's a lot of logistics to think about regarding putting out media that involves other people. So, is it possible to just set up your own locked website? Yeah, but I don't want to. I'm not going to do all that work. It's hard to get traffic to your content to reach new people. If you have your own platform, nobody's going to know how to seek you out. If you're on YouTube, you might get featured. People will find you. So, you know. I love how people are just like, yeah, get in touch with Casey Neistat. Like he's gonna talk to me. Yeah, I'm definitely going. I am. My tendency is to be a negative Nancy. I like to shoot all these ideas down just to see how far we can push it and have it be enduring as an idea, right? It's so easy to just throw out suggestions, but things get really hard once you throw logistics into the mix. But I can't tell when you're joking sometimes. I'm sorry. It's text. People say the silliest things to me and they mean it. So, the IRS is watching if you receive $600 in a year, but like Aaron and I paid each other rent through Venmo. So they're definitely watching me now because I would pay the rent and then Aaron would pay me half of that rent because it was easier to pay our landlord from one person. So okay, IRS, I guess you're watching. Yeah, the IRS watches me and sends me bills years later for not having paid $90 more in taxes. Fuck the IRS. Can you tell us what your top 3 requirements are for your next career move? This way we can simmer out those that won't work. I don't want to work for a shitty company who doesn't care about their workers. I don't want a shitty company that lies and says they care about their workers but actually don't. I don't want to work for a company that busts unions. You are the IRS, sad boy? Is that why you're sad? Honey, there are other places you can work. Take your skills elsewhere. Don't work for the cops. I want to work for like-minded folks who care about putting meaning, community, care into the world and not profit first. I want to work for people who enjoy what they're doing and don't ride their entire ego and self-confidence on fame because fame is empty and meaningless ultimately. I want to work with people who are my friends and on a certain level, soulmates. Not in terms of like me being in love with them, not that kind of soulmate, but soulmates in terms of having congruous views on the world that we live in and what's wrong with it and how we can stop contributing to the problem and the cycle. Absolutely. All corporations do that. I understand. That's why I said no corporations. Corporations can go suck a fat one. And choke on it. That's what they say, right? I really want to eat other things, but I don't want to cook that sandwich. Oh! We got pickles. What kind of business would I start? Deepa, is that how I say your name? I am absolutely trying to manifest my future. And yes, starting your own business is very hard without investment. You are absolutely right. Everyone thinks it's an easy thing. It is so hard being your own boss, because being your own boss means you actually have a million other bosses, because all of your clients are bosses. So, guys, remember this cute little cup my friend gave me? And then we roasted pumpkin seeds and never finished them? Wow. Let's finish these pumpkin seeds. ASMR time. These are pickled carrots in pickled beet juice. Ask about something political. Absolutely. Nothing is off limits here. You can ask anything you want. As always, I reserve the right to not answer, but you are free to ask. Ask away. I actually don't think my values are aligned with some of the people who left BA. Honestly, they seem to be doing the same kind of things that they were doing at BA, right? Just for themselves. Cookbooks, merch. I don't really want those things, guys. I don't want a cookbook, and I don't want to put out merch. Let's see what you guys said. Have fun with your Saints game. I'm not gonna do a nonprofit, y'all. My mom worked in a nonprofit. I've seen how shit can go down. It's not fun. Everything's fucked up. You may think just because it has the label that sounds good that it's better. Sometimes it's not. What do you think about the A4 revolution happening in China and elsewhere? Gotta be honest with you, I actually don't know what A4 stands for. If you want to explain to me. I definitely don't want to be Emma Chamberlain. No. The YouTube star life is not for me. I could thrift flip, also not for me. That would not give me joy. Like, that is just not. I'm Marie Kondoing all these ideas mentally right now. They are not sparking joy. I am letting them go and thanking you for your suggestions. Do you think Britney Spears is free or will ever get free? I think she's freer, but is any of us free? Big question here. I like using olive oil to cook. I also sometimes like to use coconut oil to cook. I don't need to start a business. We already have it. A virtual chat business. This is our virtual chat business. I'm just not making money off of it. Well, I am off of the ad revenue, but sad boy. I love friendly trolls. Thank you. Okay. I would love to work in marketing to put to use my writing skills. However, if the clients are like fucking Pepsi and Nestle, what the hell am I doing with my life? That's everything I don't want to support, right? But that's where the money is, right? All those ad campaigns that are the most expensive, that you could profit the most off of, is profiting off of slavery, environmental destruction, like literal murder, illegal activities that they get away with petty fines that they don't give a shit about. Do you get paid for lives? These videos that I put on YouTube, including the lives, roll in ad revenue. So you see an ad in the video, I get a portion of the ad revenue. That number fluctuates on YouTube depending on a multiple of factors. So yes, technically, I do get income from these lives. They are like very minimal. For the amount of time that I go live for, I get paid lower than minimum wage if you factor out to an hourly rate. If that gives you a sense of how much I get from these lives. Review Taco Bell. People have reviewed Taco Bell. You really want to see more of the same shit on the internet? Like, do you really want me to contribute to the echo chamber of the internet? I would love to go to Tunisia. Ooh, pumpkin cake with olive oil sounds amazing. Nose hair model? That's a thing. Did I have a leaving party at Delish? Alicia, I don't know if I saw your suggestion. I'm sorry. Hey, if you want feet pics, I can do feet pics. But I thought since I'm known for creating video content, why not do feet videos? Kyle B, I don't know if you missed this discussion earlier, but I was saying half jokingly, which means half of it is not joking. I could create a level of Patreon supporters who give me funds to buy new shoes, and I can make videos just for that level of Patreon supporters where I try on the shoes. I feel like there's money in that idea. I'm going to sleep on it. I'm eating pickled carrots and pickled beets. Is it a fish you're leaving Delish? What do you think? Man, I would love to go to an olive orchard. Oh, God. So, fun fact, I've never gotten a manicure in my life. I've also never gotten a pedicure in my life. And I insist that that be the case. So maybe I will be the first and potentially only feet content creator who doesn't have the most beautifully polished feet, I feel like there might be a market for that, because this is the internet after all, folks. What turns a joke into reality is action. So, real talk, how can you survive New York City without a steady income? You can't. But thankfully, because of my thrifty habits, I have a bit of a safety net banked up that is not making me panic right now. But give me a few months and I will start panicking. I will. But right now, I'm just trying to let myself live and not panic, because I think my body truly needs the rest. But you know, think about it. I've in the past 9 years, for 4.5 of it, I've lived with Craigslist strangers, splitting rooms with Aaron. So even working minimum wage, I did manage to like bank up some. And then for the last 5 years, I lived with Aaron and we split rent. So I'm just living off of my savings right now. But I will need a job, guys. I will need income, okay? I'm also a real human being who needs to eat. I especially need to eat. That's all I do. So, there's definitely a market for ugly ash feet. Oh my gosh. Anything you do must have your interaction. That is what brings us here. Okay, Trisha. Noted, chef. Only hands. My hands are worse than my feet because I have eczema. There's like cracks and scars everywhere. I'm sure even with the shitty resolution, you can see how fucked my index knuckle is right now. Tess was the host who did theme park videos. She left for Serious Eats. She's currently working at Serious Eats. I mean, if you want to do my nails, you can do my nails. Step in green jello? Ew. No. Food anthropology. I don't think I'm nerdy enough. Hi, Nalco. Oh my gosh. Thank you for offering to buy me food with your future lotto money. Listen, I would love to work at a breakfast place. When I was in college, my dream job was a short order cook, which is why my first food job in New York City was working at Cross Street Grocers. And honestly, probably my favorite food place that I've worked in my 4.5 years of working in restaurants. I love doing the same thing over and over and over again. I love being a human robot. Like, it truly pieces the shit out of me. I go into Zen mode. It gives me the same feeling as when I do shrooms. So I love it. Have you considered working with a recruiter? No. Haven't you noticed how scrappy I am? I love how scrappy my life is. Okay, this is a controversial job idea, sex work, but offering only girlfriend experience. You know, that pulls together several of my interests. I know as a society we look down on sex work and sex work adjacent work, but like, honestly, I like interacting with people, preferably on a one-on-one setting, and I think that I am a good conversationalist, so sex work without the sex, is that a thing? Will people like pay for dates with me that don't end up in bed? I'm not saying no. That's basically a sugar daddy, right? Some kinds of sugar daddies don't need the sex. Move to like Switzerland and make cheese? Yeah. You got a place for me? You got a rec? Um, I mean, so many people are giving great ideas for my future job. Uh, that's amazing. Professional cuddlers. That I might have a problem with. I don't mind cuddling, but I feel like would I cuddle with a stranger and be into it? Would I be into it enough that they feel like they're getting something out of it? I don't know. That might not be an area where I can fake it till I make it. This live is too good of a distraction. What am I keeping you away from? Should you be sleeping? Is it past your bedtime? 8:20 p.m. Some of us. Um, yeah, right. So Asterisky, I like your name. Definitely a thing. My best friend is a sex worker, and some men just want cuddles or conversation. They're lonely. Hey, I would be good at that. What was my favorite sandwich from Grocery Grocers? Okay, I went through several phases. Their breakfast sandwich is no doubt one of their best. I would order it with the bacon. I went through a phase with the grilled cheese. The grilled cheese used to be, it's been like 8 years since I've worked there, but the grilled cheese used to be on thick Balthazar brioche, and it would get slathered in pimento aioli on either side, cheese in the middle, grilled in a panini press until the aioli got a little bit caramelized. But the only way for me to have that grilled cheese is to have the $2 supplement bacon in the middle. So you would have a bacon grilled cheese with pimento mayo caramelized to perfection. That was my first phase. My second phase was the Italian combo, really popular, really classic. And then my third and final phase, and I think it was truly, no, I lied. My third phase was Uncle Chucky, which was their vegetarian sandwich. It was like beautifully olive oil roasted cauliflower with I think there might have been like chopped roasted beets in there and rubbed kale, and the kale got seasoned with Cavender's Greek seasoning, which has MSG in it, so it's like fucking bomb. And it might not have been beets, actually. It might have been roasted butternut squash. I don't know. They've gone through a couple of iterations, but whatever it was delicious. But my fourth final phase was probably my favorite sandwich, which was the tuna sandwich, which at the last time that I visited, I don't think I saw it on the menu, but they use the best canned tuna, like Ortiz brand. Shit is expensive. And they load you up on it. Like, it is a healthy serving of tuna. Then they top it with expensive ass anchovies, 3 anchovies. There is some sort of like a pimento aioli there too, I think. And maybe arugula, like lightly dressed oil vinaigrette arugula on a sesame hoagie from Caputo Bakery in Brooklyn. That hoagie was like one of the best breads I've ever had up until that point. And yeah, that sandwich was definitely my favorite. Now I'm hungry again. I would love to be an apprentice, like cheese making. Yeah. Okay, you're gonna do my nails when I go to Chicago because I feel like domestic trip wise, I need to go to Chicago. Too many people have told me I would love Chicago for me to not go. So I hope I get to go to Chicago before I die. Which you never know, it could happen. I would love to do a cheese adventure through the city, but I gotta be honest with y'all, cheese is so fucking expensive in New York. Like, all the best artisanal cheese shops sell cheeses that start at $28 a pound, which means even if I just buy a quarter pound of each, I would be like sinking $7 to $8 per cheese. I could do it. It would be an expensive video to make. Yeah, I gotta sit. The COVID fatigue is hitting really hard today. Wow, we have 319 people right now? How is that possible? Why? Why is MSG expensive? It should be one of the cheapest shits. Where do you live? Y'all, I don't think that fig was the right thing to eat when you have COVID fatigue, because now I'm crashing from the alcohol and it feels like shit. Y'all ruined me. Sorry, I'm behind. Do I order delivery? Never. Consider getting a fun job until you decide something more career-wise. You know, I think I'm not meant to have a career. Oh my gosh. Is it pronounced Tipa? I'm sorry, I didn't see your previous comment if I pronounced it wrong. You're very kind. Thank you so much for the meal offer. I would just love to take you up on suggestions when I go to Chicago. Definitely want to have a Chicago dog, so if you have a favorite spot, let me know. Did I take my vitamins? I sure did. But yes, I should drink more water. You're correct. Doing these live streams is great. It's like, I have like my 3 gay best friends who pop out of nowhere with cynicism and funnies, and then I have like a whole host of moms, most of them Midwestern. And I have people my age who commiserate with me about all the shit that's wrong in our society, and we're all on the same page. It's great. I have all of my friend groups here. Who needs real friends? It's okay. This is why I can't eat more than 1 Bailey soaked fig at a time. This is already pushing it for me. My dress is on backwards. You are correct. I would love to have you take me around Japan. Yeah. Oh, that would be a dream. Because the last time I went to Japan, everybody thought I was Japanese and would automatically start speaking to me in Japanese, and I was so embarrassed. Parasocial relationships for the win, indeed. Hey, if you're a Midwestern mom, you're a Midwestern mom. It doesn't matter how old you are. A mom's a mom. You prefer Italian beef, but if you want hot dogs, that's okay. We can have both. We can have both. I will never say no to food. What are the genres of my live stream viewers? Moms, twirly gays, friendly gays, um, asexuals. You know what? I actually do. You're right. John Richardson, you sound like a white man, and that statement sounds racist from you, but you're right. I do look Japanese, Chinese, and Korean because when I go to China, everybody asks if I'm Japanese or Korean because I don't look Chinese enough for Chinese people. When I'm in the States, everybody who's not Chinese assumes that I'm Chinese because, of course, you see an Asian woman and you assume she's Chinese. And then when I go to Japan, people are like, "You're Japanese. Let me talk to you in Japan, in Japanese." So you just happen to be right. It's true. Um, Neurodivergent gay. Okay, now we're going into like the niche genres of people. That's fine. I also feel like I have a group of viewers who are in their 50s through 70, I would say, who don't seem like they have families and they really vibe with what I say because I feel like mental age wise, I am there in that age group and I don't have kids. So we see eye to eye on a lot of things. Just the dude. We appreciate just the dudes too. We love you all. Everyone's welcomed. Older, childless, married queers. Man, I want to be in that group, kinda. I used to be very anti-marriage, but now I kind of just want to like, I don't know, locked up. Does that sound bad? But yeah, definitely childless. Fun, fearless female. We love you too. It's aspirational for me. I'm trying to be there. Ram is definitely a mom. Ram is definitely my most dependable mom right now. Okay. We got 69-year-old lesbian from Dallas, liberal, non-motherly. Love it. I actually aspire towards that too. I always felt like it would be just so awesome to be a lesbian, but unfortunately, I've only had crushes on female celebrities and never really on real life women. I don't know what that means. Um, why don't I have crushes on real life women, but I crush on female celebrities all the time? Doesn't make sense. Wait, I love reading all these biographies of everyone. It's so cool. It's like I'm meeting 300 people all at once. I won't remember anyone, but just reading these is bringing me joy. Bye, Lori. Have a safe flight. By the way, a friend just sent me an article um, at one of the universities from California. Their campus is getting extremely high infection rates with COVID, and they did a not very scientifically significant sample size, but there is asymptomatic COVID going around. 1 in 2 people are not showing symptoms, but are actually COVID positive. And they said that if you are on a plane with 150 people, you have a 99% chance of being exposed to someone who's positive with COVID. So for those of you who are traveling for the holidays, I know it's hard to avoid. Just mask up for the sake of everyone and your families. Just wear a mask. It sounds like it's just getting so bad. The infection rates are just so bad. It wouldn't hurt to just wear a mask. Severely depressed 15-year-old girl from Long Island. Oh my gosh. What can we... Do you need anything from us? Can we provide you with anything for your depression? Let us know, Long Island 15-year-old girl. I I've been there, not on Long Island, but in Forest Hills, Queens. So let me know. Wait a minute. This is blowing my mind. One of you said that you're homosexual, heteroromantic, and you hate it here. What? That's a thing? That sounds so fucked. If there's a God, he is really sadistic. So you're sexually gay, but romantically straight. Sorry, I'm just processing that. Huh. Huh. Okay. I didn't even know that was a possibility until now. But maybe I should start questioning my sexuality now. Happy married 30 years today. Congrats. Very, very delighted to know that people can make it that far. Gives me hope. Okay, I know we mean well, but I will just say that when I was deeply depressed and like suicidal, hearing other people say it gets better, I promise, did not help. Because I'm not living in the future. I can't live in the future, especially when I'm depressed and suicidal. So the promise of the future is irrelevant when the present sucks dicks. Just saying. Might not be that way for everyone, but just saying. Okay, somebody else said I'm a non-binary, romantic, lesbian, asexual. Y'all, my brain. Whoa. Bob is just spending this entire life telling me to go smoke some weed. There's so many personalities showing up tonight. I'm having so much fun. It could be the figs talking, or I'm just truly enjoying life right now and all of its absurdities about how the internet works. I have a friend who's a biromantic homosexual in a same-sex marriage. Okay, that works out, because if you're bi-romantic, then you're okay with flexing towards the gay side, and it sounds like they're in a gay marriage, so that checks out. Doesn't seem very contradictory or conflicting. People need to spend less time thinking about their sexuality and more time having sex. What about the asexuals? What if we don't like sex? Y'all are too intelligent and aware of yourself for me. Yeah, welcome to our live stream community, okay? Basically, we've had a year and 3/4 of group therapy together. A lot of us who have been here for the whole ride have developed an extreme level of self-awareness that the rest of humankind has not been exposed to. Enter at your own risk. I would like to know if there is anything one might say to encourage a really down friend. Okay, I would say the mindset of encouraging someone who's down isn't necessarily the angle to approach the situation with, because encouraging someone who's down is coming from your perspective as a friend who intends well and wants to help the friend up. But sometimes you can't help that person up. Unfortunately, in my experience, speaking for myself, depression is just something that I need to get through. And anytime someone is trying to actively help me turn towards a brighter, more optimistic, baseline normal, all of these in scare quotes, it actually triggers an intense guilt and shame in me, because it makes it all the more obvious for me that I'm not normal, quotes, that I'm depressed and sick and wrong and broken. And so it actually defeats the purpose that you're trying to achieve, which is to make them feel more whole. Sometimes we just need to feel the broken. Sometimes people can't pull themselves out of depression. Sometimes suicides happen. Are some of them preventable? Absolutely. But sometimes, in the face of an absolutely shitty circumstance, there is nothing anybody can do. So I would say that it is totally dependent on your friend who's struggling and your knowledge of them. And the first thing to do is to understand them and to be present for them, not to fix them. Because fixing them or having the mindset that you can fix them is already creating a dynamic of you being the savior and them being in distress, which they are in distress, but you might not be their savior. At the end of the day, they're the only ones who can be their own savior. So I would say be present as a witness. Don't exert control that you especially don't have professional knowledge and experience of. And try to gain understanding of the situation first, instead of coming at it with your own predetermined narrative of how to help. That's my 2 cents. You could disagree. Yeah, for real. Christy says, chat out here showing us sexuality as a spectrum, and the assumption of allosexual heteronormity is just a construct. Not only that, I've had my mind blown today by your sexual orientations. Like, I'm still going to be processing this late into the night. It might change my self-view. Who knows? What's my label if I am attracted to both men and women, but sex doesn't appeal to me? You're biromantic asexual, maybe? Lillian says, I'm 73 and I learned from you to use up my stuff. It made me sad when you were cleaning your mom's house and found stuff she should have used. Use it, Lillian. I'm so happy to hear. All the labels and self-awareness, not as many answers, but that is not the point, and it is pretty nice. Yeah, sometimes the answers aren't the point. What does it feel like to smoke weed? Oh, Christine. Homegirl. Only you can tell yourself what it feels like. Bye, Sonia. Deborah says, have 8 kids. You just might grow to not like sex. Oh, I do need more figs inside me right now. I will also say that food helps some people, but depending on your friend's struggle, food can also be triggering. Um, in my earlier stages of my relationship with Aaron, he would always like bring me food gifts, but I was at a very different stage in my relationship with food and in dealing with my different kinds of disordered eating and the mindsets that come with that. And even though I knew that he was gifting me food out of love and care and wanting to share, it was triggering to receive those food gifts because it would trigger my pre-existing guilt about eating and what that means in terms of who I am and whether or not I was a good person, so on and so forth, you know, that kind of mindset. And then it would trigger another layer of guilt in me to not want to eat that food because of the previous set of guilt. So again, it really needs to be tailored to the person that you're wanting to help, because without knowledge of what their situation is, all of these actions might actually be more detrimental than they are helpful. So that's why I said you need to really understand what is bothering them first. Yeah, Megan, being a single mom is hard, man. Fuck. Being a mom is hard. Being a single mom? Jesus. Alicia, I'm reading your comment. I have just now realized that I cannot turn off my depression. For the longest time, I didn't even realize it was depression. Here lately, I just feel like I cannot pull myself out of this rut. I don't know how long it's been for you, but I did have like a really rough 4 years of depression. And my particular experience of depression is very much tied to the external factors in my life. So, living situation, job situation, relationship situation, and eating disorder situation. Eating disorder, I would argue, is a mental thing and not so much externalized, but I am very triggered by food in the outside world and my interactions with them, so it was partially externalized. I don't know what your experience of depression is, and I don't know how feasible it is for you to change different elements of your life that could be bothering you, but for me, the inside leaks out in depression and the outside invades in during depression for me. Knowing how depression functions in me, with me, has helped in me being able to label what things are worsening the condition for me. So if I know that this housing situation isn't working, and obviously I have enough money to move, then I will try to make every effort to get myself out of that situation. I have lived in unsafe situations before where like a Craigslist roommate has like screamed in my face drunk, and I was like, okay, we gotta go. But depending on your income and the money that you have, and you can't move, like that just is a shitty situation that you're stuck in that. Knowing that the situation that I cannot escape is what's hurting me, then I have to do some like mental work to kind of almost depersonalize the situation for me. It requires a lot of energy to go into metacognition like that, to think about why you're depressed. Not everyone can do it, especially when the depression is the hardest. So I don't have any advice for you. I'm just sharing what turns in my brain when these things go through me. But I've been around the carousel of depression several times now since high school. And so it sucks every time, but now I feel like I've gotten more familiar with how it happens and the cycle that it takes on, that I'm more prepared to live with it and live through it and let it pass through. Um, it's hard. Different things work for different people. Some people find a lot of relief in medicine. Some people find a lot of relief in therapy. Some people can't afford either one. So there is not a one size fits all advice. Oh, I'm almost out of battery power, y'all. I have 10% left. So if I get cut off, you know why. Happy birthday, Melissa. Holy shit. How did you come to be so fluent and eloquent when you talk about feelings, June? I think about them a lot. I've also been to therapy. I also self-therapize a lot. And I also have been working on getting rid of shame. And you would be surprised how much your self-perception and worldview changes when you start to allow yourself to let go of the shame. And this live stream community has helped me a lot in getting rid of shame, because the first few months was me confronting a lot of comments about how in my dynamics with Aaron, some parts of it was labeled toxic, some parts of it was labeled abusive. I got a lot of comments slung at me about my behaviors and who I was as a person. And I had to like process a lot of that publicly, because my behavior was for all to see, and the live streams got uploaded and they were left on there. I could have deleted them, but I didn't, because it was fascinating to have that kind of mirror into myself. It's just a lot of self-confrontation. I'm not gonna charge the battery. We've been live for 2.5 hours. I really need to go rest. So it's a good thing that we're running out of time. And I need to practice some self-care and draw boundaries and give myself rest. And y'all need to do that too. And just know that, like, running out of time, just like a real therapy session. Except this therapy session is free, y'all. But all mental health issues are hard because we treat them under specific labels, and we start to think that, yeah, depression is all one thing, and anxiety is all one thing, and OCD is all one thing, and this and that, but they're not, because we're all different people with different backgrounds and different experiences, in different class levels, with different political views and different personal values and different cultural morality frameworks, and it's just like, that creates so much difference, and you can't apply one size fits all solutions. Sometimes at the end of the day, there isn't a good, neat solution. You can't be fixed. And you can't be fixed because sometimes you're not the problem. Sometimes you have depression because the world just fucking sucks. But in our world and culture and society framework, we would like to blame the individual instead of the system. So we tell the individual to go get therapy and fix themselves, instead of acknowledging that actually you're being like societally raped day in and day out, forced to go to work, forced to follow a timeline that might not work for your circadian rhythms, forced to be someone, be professional, dress professional, say like speak professional, act professional. Like, those are not you, right? But we've been trained to do that because it's the right thing to do. Well, who says? And over time, all of those neuroses build up because we perform selves that are not selves. We perform selves that are dictations that other people have handed down to us. And we become alienated from ourselves. And we start to hate ourselves. Not because we hate ourselves, but because we hate how we are not allowed to be.
And then when we realize that we have to learn and give ourselves space and time to like re-uncover ourselves, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It's really hard because everybody, including all the rules that we're supposed to abide by, gaslight us into saying, no, actually you're just not a good human being. Like you're doing all this wrong. But sometimes you're not the problem. And there is no solution because you can't be fixed because you're not broken. Sometimes it's not you. Most times it's not you. And so that's why the only way to survive is to be kind to yourself and to forgive yourself to the point where you realize, actually, I don't need to forgive myself because I didn't sin. I've just been trying to be me all along, and they told me I can't. Because they're trying very hard to fit in, because we were all told there's one path to success, and it's one size fits all. But I'm just learning at the age of 33 that it's not one size fits all. That, in fact, is the lie. That, in fact, is what's been making me anxious, stressed, down on myself, hating myself, ashamed of myself, guilty all the time for not recycling enough, and not being conscientious enough, and not being ethical enough, and not being politically active enough, when we don't have systems that allow you to do these things efficiently. We don't pay people enough to afford them the ability to be ethical. How do you do things without resources? Okay, 2.5 hours. I love you all, and I hope you can love yourself too. And yeah, Bailey soaked figs, y'all. It's magic. You should try it.